Welcome everyone back to the Boudoir. I am your host, Ieasha Jones, and this is episode 9. Today is going to be a fun episode because we're going to do like a variety show. We're going to do like a couple segments in one. So we are going to find out if your girl Ieasha is smarter than a 5th grader. I found this little test online and I thought it would be fun to see if if I can still like remember some stuff from elementary school. I have faith in myself. I have faith in myself to answer at least 80% of the questions right, maybe 70, but you'll just have to find out and see. And in the second half of this episode, we're going to be going over some Reddit Am I the Asshole scenarios because I love to watch those personally. So if that sounds fun to you, make sure you grab some cute PJs or something. I'm currently wearing a leopard print onesie. Let me stand up for you, y'all. Oh yeah. Onesie action. Okay, fun fact, I was watching a TikTok, I think, or I saw a post somewhere online, and somebody in a very like annoyed, irate tone was like, it's actually not called cheetah print, it's leopard print. Get it right. And like basically most of us conflate the two, and like most of us get it wrong. Like we think it's cheetah print. I don't know, because like the cheetah girls, that's just ingrained in my brain. But they said it's leopard print. So what does that have to do with anything? I don't know. I just thought I'd share that with you. I'm like so giddy for it to be like full on sunshine all the time. Like it's just been so gloomy these past few days in Chicago. I'm literally looking outside. It looks like Gotham, which I love. Like we get so much fog here. And the fog gets really low sometimes, and it looks really spooky, but also really cool. But like, I'm ready for 75 degrees and sunshine. Like, I don't know. But yesterday I was watching a really profound podcast episode from Leo Skeppy. I think he's great. I know he's very polarizing, and honestly, we're going to get more into like polarizing people in a second, but like, I love polarizing people. I consider myself polarizing. I love people that like you either love them or you hate them. And like I love people that you know exactly where they stand. I love polarizing people on the internet. Even if I don't always necessarily agree with their takes, like there's plenty of people. I don't always agree with Leo. I don't always agree with Shira7 and like the other people I watch on YouTube. But like I enjoy having people that speak their 100% authentic truth. And in his podcast episode yesterday, Leo was talking about like letting go the like caring about what people say about you. And I thought it was such a great episode because as a content creator myself, I think it's always nice to hear that message every so often, because like you can like let certain comments or like certain remarks that people say get to you if you're not careful enough. Like we all have to remember that this is just the internet. Like we're all allowed to say whatever the F we want on this internet. I'm using up all my airtime to speak my truth, and sometimes that triggers people, but I love having people like Leo to remind you, just because you have an opinion that like deviates from the norm doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means you have an opinion. And so I just thought it was a really great video. And then on TikTok, I was watching this lady. I think her name is Jacqueline, and she's also on YouTube. I think it's The Real Baddie TV. She just says like a lot of things that are like not necessarily unpopular opinions, but like she does like really great videos sharing perspectives that like I've never heard before. And like I love people that are free thinkers and that can just like expand your mind and make you think about something that you've never thought about before. Yeah, I've just been seeing such great content on my For You page, because I feel like a lot of the times social media can feel like an echo chamber, and when you have people that like aren't afraid to stand on their own and be the black sheep, be the polarizing one, be the one that speaks what's on their mind, I 100% respect people like that. So if you also need that reminder, give his podcast episode a listen, because I think he's great. Do I always agree with him? No, but I think a lot of our ideologies match up. All right, why don't we get into this Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader quiz, because I'm actually very curious to see how this is gonna go. All right, we're on WikiHow, just in case you guys want to do this quiz with me. I will leave the link in the description box. But we have 12 questions here. I think I can score at least a passing score. Passing was what, like 75% in school, 70%? Listen, I know all about passing, okay? C's get degrees. How you doing, okay? But yeah, I would say I was a decent student in school. Like I was someone who on the report cards was like, she daydreams a lot, she doesn't pay attention, because like I'm in Barbie world. I don't care what's going on. I don't care about polygons or whatever else, but I'm very smart and I do get good grades. Like I'm an A, B, occasional C in math type of student. All right. You guys ready? Are you going to do it with me? Make sure you write down your answers. We're going to go ahead and start the quiz. So, question number 1. Which continent is the most populated? South America, Asia, Africa, or Europe? I am going to go ahead and say Asia because China alone, I think, has like 1 billion people. Correct. Next. Okay. Let's see. How is sodium represented in the periodic table of elements? We have Na, K, S, or SO. Now, that's a great question. I'm going to say it's SO. I'm assuming. I don't think there's an S. There might be an S element, but I don't think it's sodium. So we're going to go with SO. Oh, and both were wrong. It was Na. Well, that's all right. That's only our first one that we got wrong. We can still go strong in this game, okay? All right. We learned something new. It's Na. All right. What is the scientific name for the upper part of the bone? We have the humerus, the ulna. I've never heard of that word in my life. The femur and the radius. Now, radius is a mathematical term, but I'm sure it could exist in the human body as well. Femur is in your leg, right? I don't think it's a femur. I don't know what an ulna is, so I'm going to go ahead and go with the humerus. And I surely, truly hope I'm not wrong. I got it right. I don't know, because something about humerus, like, I don't know. I knew for a fact that a femur was in your leg, but I did not know about the other 2 words. So that was honestly process of elimination, which is how I got through a lot of my tests in school. Okay. How many sides are equal in an isosceles triangle? 0, 1, 2, or 3? This is easy. It's 2. Correct. Did you see my little... There was like a slight moment where I had a little bit of doubt. I was like, what if I'm wrong? But it was right. We move, we live. Okay. Number 5. What part of speech is the word quickly? Adjective, noun, preposition, or adverb? That is an adverb. I love me some adverbs, okay? Quickly, rapidly, sexily. Making up my own words. Okay. What U.S. state is the largest? Montana, California, Texas, Alaska. Now, this is crazy. I don't think this has anything to do with the question, but I recently learned that Alaska is a lot closer to Russia than I thought. It's only like 4,000 miles away. Like, we're all a lot closer than we think, but that's not the question they're asking. Now, I know that it's either California or Texas. I'm going to have to say California, even though I know Texas is huge. It's like it takes 8 hours to get through the entire state, I heard, from like one side to the other. But I'm going to have to say California. It was Alaska. Okay, that's fair. I figured because Alaska, when you actually deep it, is huge. And like that's something I recently learned. So what's the second biggest, California or Texas? I don't know. Anywho. What word describes the following principle? An object in motion stays in motion, while an object at rest stays at rest. Now, for some reason, in my school district, they had a bunch of 14-year-olds taking physics, a bunch of freshmen coming straight out of middle school taking physics. So, needless to say, I got a lot of terrible grades in that class. So I actually have no idea, and that's probably very sad, but if I had to make an educated guess, I would say force. Well, it was inertia. That was like my second choice, but anywho, it doesn't matter. I'm wrong. Let's move on. It's kind of humbling when you take these quizzes. What is the fraction 1/3 multiplied by 1/3 equal to? Now, again, math was not... I used to cry while doing my math homework. Fractions are not my girl, but in this case, it has to be 2/3, you know? That makes so much sense. Why did I... Of course, it's 1/9. That is crazy. That's embarrassing. Let's just move on. They said not quite. Okay. What kind of figurative language does "she was as sly as a fox" use? Hyperbole, allusion, personification, simile. That is a simile. Do you see where she did well in school and where she did not? Anywho, what kind of animal is a turtle? A mammal, amphibian, reptile, or gastropod? What are these words? Gastropod. Now, think I want to say amphibian because I think a frog is an amphibian, but also I feel like it could be a reptile. Ooh, should I go with my first choice or should I go with reptile? I don't think it's not a mammal. It's not a mammal. I don't think they have hair. No, it's definitely an amphibian. Shit. I should have said reptile. I was this close. Man, I might be doing a lot worse than I thought here. Okay. Bonus question. At what temperature does water boil? 212 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the answer. 32, 104, or 99. It's 212. Period. Whew, okay. Now, lastly, what is the primary language spoken in Brazil? Brazilian, English, Spanish, or Portuguese? It is definitely Portuguese. Period. I am 7 out of 12. What is that in percentages? I might be smarter than a 5th grader. I might. There's room for doubt, but I might be smarter than a 5th grader. Okay. I did like a little bit better than 50%. I don't know what 7 out of 12 is, clearly, because the fraction questions threw me off, but that was fun, actually. I really liked that. What did you guys score? If you guys played along with me, let me know what you guys got on the quiz. Definitely do this. This is really fun. And I feel my brain neurons, like the neurons I haven't used since I was like 14 years old, are like firing up right now. I literally feel it. All right, now that we found out that we just might be smarter than a 5th grader, let's move on to Am I the Asshole? I pulled a couple of these because I thought they might be interesting conversations to start up. Obviously, with these things, you're only hearing the one person's side. I mean, we all know that, but we're just basing it off of the information they're providing. So, let's start with the first one, okay? Let's see, where do we want to start here? This first one says, am I the asshole because I don't want to take my boyfriend's last name when we get married? Let's see. Me, 24-year-old female, and my boyfriend, 24-year-old male, have started to talk about marriage. I love him dearly and truly believe he is the love of my life. Aw. We are currently long distance, and he is planning to move to me this summer. Everything seems perfect except for one hang-up. I expressed my concerns about taking his name. Ever since I was a child, I wanted to keep my own name. My name is pretty unique, and I feel like it represents my family and my identity. I'm an attorney, and it's the name on my JD. It's the name of the people who sacrifice day after day for years to afford me every opportunity to be where I am. My boyfriend wants me to at least hyphenate. When I said I would consider that, I'm not saying no, but to me changing my name felt like I was submitting to him and forsaking who I am, his response was that he understands, but it's tradition. He also declined to hyphenate his name. He thinks it's part of us becoming a family. He also says that he's the one that's buying the ring and moving, which I know he is, but if he's equating buying a ring with me having to change my name, it does feel like he's buying me. And I don't even know what to say about moving, because he is, and it's such a beautiful thing he's willing to do for me. But at the same time, one of us has to move for us to be together, but our names don't have to match to be married and in love. But maybe I'm the asshole for that. This morning, his compromise was we keep our own names, but we don't do a ceremony. No engagement ring, no anything traditional, if I'm against tradition so much. I explained that it's just making it harder for me to want to change my name. It's the idea that I have to change who I am with no choice. Like he's taking something rather than me deciding to give it. Also, hyphenating is something I'm considering. But then my last name would be 20 characters long, not including my first. I've always just felt like my name is the only thing that's really mine. It's who I am. It's truly heartbreaking for me to change it. And I hate that it's just expected of me. I don't know. Am I the asshole? Okay. Now, off the bat, I am going to say No, you are not the asshole in this situation, okay? Now let's talk about the whole changing the last name. What do we think about this? Now, my answer is a very Leo answer, and it's very superficial. Honestly, whoever's name sounds the best with my first name, which is Ieasha, whoever sounds the best is the name I'm taking. Now, if their last name is ugly and it does not sound cute, I will consider hyphenating, or I'm just going to keep, Ieasha Jones. But if it sounds rich, if it's like Maserati, Ferrari, something with a very okay, something with a pretty penny attached to it, I'll take it. Like, I am not so invested in like that, like the name changing thing, but I think that it is very important for some people. I think it's very important for some people, especially for this person, because she's saying like, well, I'm a lawyer, I worked hard for this name, and and her name is unique and it represents her identity. So I understand in that case where somebody, a name like that would be important to them. And I just think that, it's up to the person who's doing the sacrificing ultimately. Like, you are literally changing the trajectory of your life, because the name that you've always gone by, and like the name that you worked hard and your ancestors worked hard to put value towards, you're just changing that overnight. And yes, it is tradition, but for some people, like, it's not as important to them as keeping their own name is. And I think that for him to be like, well, fine, then no ring, then no mirror, and then, like, you're a child, sir. Like, you're a child. I don't think that the reaction needed to be that strong. And then he did say that he would consider hyphenating it, but wait, no, he said that he declined to hyphenate his name, so he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to compromise at all on his part, but he wants you to take his last name because it's tradition. But now he's trying to get all pissy and, well, fine, then no ceremony, no engagement, no nothing, no blah, blah, blah. It's like, that is so unnecessary. And like, it is right, a ring does not equate a name. Like, a name is crazy, Now in this case, I think something like that, where you guys are having that much friction to the point where he's like, well, fine, you don't need a ring then, we don't need no ceremony. Like, if he's just willing to throw it all away because of that, like, I think you guys need to take some time to like maybe stay engaged a little longer to see if like it's something you guys can come to an agreement with together, and not like such a drastic ultimatum. Because if you guys are going to be in a marriage, like, you can't do ultimatums like that. You have to kind of be willing to work on it and compromise. But, I mean, hey, if you really don't want to change your name and you really don't want to hyphenate it, I wouldn't do it. You're just not going to be happy like that. And maybe the idea will grow on you, but he can't force you. And I think it's a little rude, not even just a little. I think it's like immature to like, well, fine, then blah, 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 blah. Like, and also I think if he knew how much it meant to you and like how important your name was to you, I feel like he wouldn't be so like hell-bent on you having his name. Why does it matter? If you guys are still married, it's not like the love changes. You just don't have his last name. You're still a union. You're still together. I don't know. I just think there's this like patriarchal thing that men have where it's like, I must carry on my bloodline. And it's like, relax. Like, this is not, we don't live in Game of Thrones world. Like, this is regular world, okay? Everything's gonna be all right. There's multiple different types of families that exist. Everybody don't have the same last name. For me personally, it's not that deep, but for some people it is that deep. And they really want you to carry their last name, or they really want to keep them. And for this person, I don't think you're the asshole. I think he was kind of the asshole to like throw a temper tantrum over, your literal name. But I do hope you guys take a little bit more time to stay engaged and figure it out. I hope, things are better. But no, you are not the asshole. Am I the asshole for being offended that the invitation for my significant other's longtime best friend wedding was not extended to me? Oops, let's see what's going on here. My boyfriend recently got the RSVP for his childhood best friend's wedding. It did not include a +1. My boyfriend and I have been together for over a year, and I have met the couple only a few times as they are out of state. Our last encounter did not go so well, I was invited to their New Year's party and overdid it with the drinks. I completely lost my dignity that night, which I thought was totally disrespectful, and I'm still disgusted with myself. It's okay. We've all had them 2 drunken nights, girl. We all been there. Okay. I have not been that drunk since I was 22, and I'm 28 now. I sincerely apologized the next day. Now I'm inclined to believe that it's this encounter that's gotten me uninvited to their wedding, which I'm totally willing to accept as a consequence of my actions that night. I acknowledge the possibility that I was never invited in the first place, but some of the conversations about this wedding did take place in my presence, and there was no mention of it being a small, family and close friends only event. My dilemma is, how do I go forward about my interactions with this couple moving forward? My boyfriend and I do not think it's something that is irreprehensible, and I've been eager to redeem myself, but maybe they view it much differently. Am I the asshole? Well, as your fellow age mate-ish, we're around the same age. Yeah, we can't drink like we used to when we were 22. Yeah. Hard lesson. I had to stop drinking because of it, literally, because my body cannot handle and process the alcohol the way it used to when she was a little younger. Okay, so totally understand you there. We've all had our drunken nights or whatever, and I don't know what you did and what you're not telling us at the party. You don't have to tell us because it's your own personal business, but maybe it was that bad, and that's why they're like, ooh, it's an open bar. We don't know how she's gonna be around Meemaw and Papa and aunties and uncles and kids and stuff. So maybe they're like, maybe you're right. Maybe they don't want to invite you because of that reason. Or especially if they were talking about the wedding in front of you, I feel like it could have been because of that incident at the party that you're not telling us about. But maybe, how bad was it? How bad did you overdo it that night? I mean, I don't think that. So you're saying, am I the asshole for being offended? I mean, it's okay to feel offended, but also, like, you can't personalize it. Like, yes, it is a little ouchies that your man or your significant other is literally getting the invitation, but you ain't. There's no. They didn't even say no +1, no nothing. Yeah, I think it was the party. I'm sorry. I really do. Like, unless, like, maybe they're not as close to you. Maybe. I don't know. I do think I would be a little offended if, like, I didn't get a +1. Now you gotta sit at home while your boyfriend's at the wedding. I would be sad. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I don't think you're an asshole for being offended, but I don't think that they should have to invite you if they really don't want to. Like, I don't know. Maybe you really did, like, offend them at that event, and they're like, you know what? We're not shunning this person, but let's just not have them at this event because we want it to be small and personal, or we just don't want you there for whatever reason. And you just have to accept that. That doesn't mean they hate you. That doesn't mean whatever. I mean, they could. But also, I don't know. Yeah, you just gotta take the L, I think. Like, maybe send them, like, a wedding gift. Like, send your boyfriend with a card or something. Like, give them a nice gift card, get them something off their little wedding registry or something. But, like, I think maybe this was New Year's, and this was just posted, so this was like a couple months ago, and they're still ticked off about the New Year's Eve party. I don't know, because this was just posted yesterday. I'm filming this on Monday. This was just posted, so yeah. I think you just have to take the L. Maybe just try to send, like I said, send them, like, a little gift, a little card, a little something that says, hey, from me, or even do, like, from the boyfriend and me in little parentheses. But yeah, you might just have to take time. I could see how that would be awkward going forward. Like, if you guys are planning to be, even though they are out of state, like, when you do have to be around them, well, y'all have only been together for over a year. Like, I feel like that's a long time, but it's not that much time. And especially since they're from out of state and you guys don't really know each other like that. And, like, the only time they've seen you was when you were twisted at the party. So maybe it did leave a bad taste in their mouth, but I don't know. You're not the asshole, though, for being offended. I would probably be offended too, but you just gotta accept it. They don't have to invite you. It's their wedding. This one's different. Would I be the asshole if I broke up with my girlfriend of almost 3 years a few days before our wedding anniversary? This one's short and sweet. I've realized in the last few months that I'm slowly falling out of love with my girlfriend and want to end things because she deserves better. Was planning on breaking up this week, but then remembered our anniversary is coming up in just over a week's time. I'm not sure if I can last another week of trying to keep it going before I end things. It's just the timing is off. I don't know if I should do it before or after our anniversary. Either way, it's not going to be perfect. Okay. No, you would not be an asshole for breaking up with your girlfriend a few days before the anniversary, but you are an asshole for not for like leading this person on. Like, I don't understand why people do this. If you know you're not happy with the situation, why are you dragging it out? Why are you having this other person believe everything's all hunky dory? They getting all ready for this anniversary. They go into their wax appointment, their hair appointment, nail appointment, getting all ready, and you sitting here plotting and twiddling your thumbs waiting for the perfect time to break up. Just break up. Like, I don't know, I'm a very direct person and I can't lie, I can't fake how I feel. Like, it's just the vibes are going to be off. I'm going to be miserable to be around. You're going to know that I don't like you anymore, so there's no point of me dragging it out. I don't know what this person did to you that you don't feel it anymore. You said, oh, you're slowly falling out of love with your girlfriend in the last few months. Was there a conversation to be had? Was this ever discussed? Did you talk about the things that were bothering you? Did you give her a chance to work on it? Or you just flat out don't like her anymore? I don't know, but you should have did this a long time ago. If this was a few months in the making, sorry. You should have spoke about it. You should have spoke up. You could have. You didn't say if you did or not, but you're not an asshole for breaking up with her, but you are conflict avoidant. That's what you are. Am I the asshole for dumping my girlfriend after she expected me to pay for everyone on her birthday? I, 24-year-old male, and my girlfriend, 24-year-old female, have been dating for 4 years. On my girlfriend's 24th birthday, a few weeks ago, I booked a table at a pretty nice restaurant for me, her, and 4 of her friends. I want to clarify beforehand that I earn quite a bit more than my girlfriend. I cover all the rent and utilities for our apartment while she covers household expenses like groceries and such. While at the restaurant, I noticed how she and all of her friends ordered some of the most expensive items on the menu. At the time, I thought I would only be covering mine and my girlfriend's bill, so I wasn't really concerned. When the bill arrived and the waiter asked how I would like to split the bill, asked if I would like to split the bill, I said yes. I told the waiter that what my girlfriend and I ordered would be on one bill for me, and the rest should be decided between her friends. The bill totaled around 1,100 euros. I remember the smiles being wiped off of their faces as soon as I said that. I ended up paying for my girlfriend's and my food while her friends paid for theirs. I remember the car ride home being awfully silent. I kept asking my girlfriend if something was wrong, and she kept insisting that she was just tired. No, she was not tired. My girlfriend ended up giving me the silent treatment for the next week. I would keep asking her if something was wrong, but she would always refuse to say what the issue was. The thought of me not paying, being the culprit, kept creeping into my mind, but I would always reassure myself by telling myself that my girlfriend wouldn't be dumb enough to expect me to pay for everyone's food. I just lost it last Monday and demanded an answer from her. She ended up telling me that I embarrassed her in front of her friends by not paying for everyone. I asked her why it was my responsibility to pay. She told me that since I organized everything and I was the man, I was obligated to pay for everyone. We ended up getting in a pretty heated argument, and I ended up staying at my parents' house for the next couple of days to gather my thoughts. I came home last Friday, and her attitude towards me didn't change one bit. When I confronted her again, she told me to transfer the money her friends paid for the food, and only then she would talk to me. We got into another heated argument, and I broke up with her then and there, telling her to pack her things. While leaving, she called me a broke boy and wished me good luck finding another girlfriend with my brokey mentality. Wardrobe change. I went to the bathroom and somehow the sleeve fell into the toilet, so we're in a different shirt now. Everybody prints now. Anyways, where were we? She sent me an apology yesterday for calling me those names, but she insisted on me paying back her friends if I wanted to make our relationship work. I have been a mess since. I don't want to throw away 4 years with someone I considered to be the future mother of my kids. I could have given her friends a heads up that I wouldn't be covering for them. And I know it's completely my fault, but her behavior over the past 2 weeks has also been quite concerning to me. But again, I love her too much for the situation to be the end of our relationship. I just want to swallow my pride and send her friends the money and forget about everything. Am I the asshole here? Did I overreact? Should I apologize? Send her friends the money. All right, let's unpack this. There's like so many conversations in one. Now, me personally, I am of the camp of like just standard. If I'm going on a date with a man and they are the ones who brings up the plans and who is making the plan and who's doing the inviting, I'm always going to assume that they're paying, just because like if you're the one that's setting up this whole event, I'm assuming that you're going to be funding it. I know there's this whole sprinkle conversation going on, and that adds a whole other layer to this, because a lot of the things that she was saying was like, you're a brokey mentality, all this stuff. And like, I think this situation is interesting because this is his girlfriend's birthday party, and he was like, you know what, let's bring some friends just so that it's not just us, it can also be her friends included. Now, if I'm being invited to like my best friends, if my friend's boyfriend invited me to go to dinner with them and it was like a group of us, would I assume that he's paying? I don't know if I would assume that he's gonna pay. I always do have my own, because I don't want to be walking around looking stuck, mad and confused when something doesn't go my way or the way I thought it would, so I'm never looking crazy. But I mean, I kind of would be like, I wonder if he's paying. Especially since, dude, you didn't say. Like, that was the problem. I feel like the problem was that you should have made it clear in the beginning. Like, yes, I'm inviting you guys, but it's going to be split among the four of us. I'm going to pay for her, but you guys are going to have to fund your own. Like, I think that should have been made clear, because if the people who could not, whether they could afford it or not, or wanted to pay for it or not, if they didn't want to come out of pocket for this birthday event, they wouldn't have came, because then they wouldn't even had to have dealt with this whole situation. Now, I think her calling you a brokey was mean. Like, I feel like that's calling somebody a brokey and you've been with them for 4 years. Like, I think that's a little, like, I don't know. Like, I think a lot of these, like, internet TikTok terms that we commodify, and when we bring them offline and bring them into real life, I feel like that was kind of irrational. I think her reaction was kind of irrational. Again, we don't always know the whole situation with these stories, but I think that response was a little much. I don't like, yes, he's not dating your friends. I think it would be a baller move if he paid for everybody. I don't think he's entitled. No, I don't think he's, what's that word? Not entitled. I don't think he's like, I don't think the onus should have been on him to pay, but I think he should have made it clear in the beginning, hey, I'm just paying for our 2 meals only. I'm not paying for you guys, especially since you know the place. You $1,100. What did y'all buy? Like, that's a lot of money. You guys were clearly at a nice restaurant. Like, this should have been discussed beforehand. He's saying that he noticed how the girlfriend and all her friends ordered the most expensive stuff on the menu, but he wasn't concerned because he thought, see, this is where assuming goes wrong. We can't make assumptions. You know what assuming does? This is why we need to have conversations and good communication beforehand, so that nobody's looking stuck and confused when the check comes. Now, if you know somebody is paying for you and you intentionally order the most expensive thing, I think that is rude and classless. I kind of do think that. Like, I don't think you should go out of your way to like order the most, like the cheapest thing either, but like, there are people that are opportunistic, and when they know that somebody is going to be covering the bill, they'll like do more than what they would normally do for themselves, and they know that they're doing that, and so they will take advantage of a moment like this where it seems like, oh, this dude is just going to pay for all of our stuff, and then they go above and beyond what they would actually do for themselves. So I do see that part of it. I do see the sprinkle aspect of it, of like, well, the man should pay because you're the one that invited us out, and blah, 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 blah. Like, I do see that side too. But I just think that no, he obligated was the word I was looking for. No, he is not obligated to pay for every last one of their meals except for the girlfriends. But when you're inviting people out, the expectation is that you are taking them out. So I don't blame them necessarily for being confused when the check came and they're like, oh, I guess we are paying. But I don't think they should have been so like attitudey and acting like you did something wrong because you're not paying for them. Like, I think you should always come with your own money, which they did, thank goodness. But I wouldn't necessarily be upset that I was the one paying for my own food. Like, I would assume that he's going to pay for definitely the girlfriend, my friend. But I would be pleasantly surprised and happy if he did decide to pick up my tab, but I wouldn't hold it against him if he didn't. Like, I don't think he's a broke boy. And he said that he pays most of the bills. So, I mean, I don't know. I think that's just kind of crazy. Like, after 4 years, this is what drives them apart. I don't know. I hope there isn't some underlying stuff going on, because I feel like to just jump to, well, you're a brokey. Like, I wouldn't say that to somebody I was with for 4 years that I loved. I don't think you're an asshole. I think you're justified to be upset because she was acting in a very immature way. I just think there needs to be better communication all around, because for her to give you the silent treatment for like a week or two, whatever it was, I think that's very immature. And I hate when people give you the silent treatment, because it's like, use your adult words and speak up if you have a problem. Like, why are we all walking on eggshells when you can just speak up? But I'm just a very direct person. Not everybody's like that. So I don't like the silent treatment thing, but also I think you should have had better communication from the jump and been like, listen, I ain't paying for y'all, or we can work something out, but here's what's going to happen. So now you know for next time. I don't know. The last am I the asshole is, am I the asshole for telling my best friend to stop being close to my boyfriend? Okay. Me and my boyfriend have been dating for nearly a year, and my current best friend and I started becoming really close just when me and my boyfriend started dating. Our relationship has been through rough times, but never got toxic, and we always fixed our issues. We are also planning a future ahead together. He has met my family and even my grandparents overseas, and I also have a close bond with his family, so things are looking pretty good and hopeful for the future. He is also moving back to Spain due to work. My best friend Macy is a very open person. She has a lot of friends and is very bubbly and affectionate. She has many guy friends and is very close with them, and physical touch such as buying very close with them in physical, such as buying gifts, hugging, play fighting, resting head on shoulder, saying things like I love you. She also has another best friend, Kayla, with a boyfriend, Matias, and my best friend Macy is very close with Matias, as well as sleeping over at each other's houses, play fighting when he is shirtless, posting alone pictures together. I found this a little weird since they weren't friends before, but since the girlfriend Kayla is okay with it, I thought it wasn't my place to do so. Macy didn't do any of these acts with my boyfriend at first. However, she started later on, such as touching his hair, texting him, asking to call, and many more. My boyfriend has brought it up with me, and it did make me a little uncomfortable. However, I decided to not bring it up with her, as I thought it would be very awkward and I didn't want her to take it the wrong way. So I told my boyfriend to keep a distance. However, one day when it was planned ahead of me to go to my boyfriend's house so we can have some alone time and hang out, Macy asked if she could come. I didn't want to say no, as I didn't want to be rude, so I told her to ask my boyfriend, which he said yes to. So she came over and was acting affectionate again, and she was laying close to him on his bed, and when she was saying goodbye, she said, "Bye, I love you" to him. Now, I was very upset over this, as I wanted alone time with him as he was leaving, and to their closeness. And personally, I don't think they should be this close. So I asked my boyfriend why he said yes, and mentioned he said yes because he assumed I'd say yes. Me and him had a little argument over this, however, nothing too bad. When I brought it up with her, I told her that we had different boundaries, and I did not want to be as close to her as before, as things felt ruined, and I didn't feel that same close friendship to her. Which she replied with saying I was implying that she was trying to fuck my boyfriend, which I never accused her of having an attraction toward him, said I knew nothing about male and female friendships, and called me closed-minded. We haven't spoke since, and I don't think we will continue being friends, and I really don't think I did something wrong. However, I would like to hear what others think. Now, Macy, in my opinion, knows exactly what she's doing. And I have talked about this in the past. I think it was actually in my Love is Blind video about the whole like platonic best friend thing. And I'm not one of those people that's like, men and women absolutely cannot be friends under any circumstances. I don't think that. I think healthy, mature adults with common sense and critical thinking skills can be friends of the opposite sex without it being anything. But that's a lot to ask of the people of nowadays. So, I think most of the time there's always something funny going on. Most of the time somebody likes somebody and is just not being honest. Or if given the opportunity, they would do something with that person. Something sexual with that person if given the opportunity. That's what I think about the whole male-female friendships. Now, if in the case of Macy and this whole thing of like getting close with people's boyfriends, I don't understand that. Like, I know there's some girls that are guys' girls who just love like the whole playing rough and the football and all the like typical male things. And there's nothing wrong with that. But this person knows exactly what they're doing. And I feel like they're weaponizing their bro-ness or whatever to kind of like keep that door open. Now, again, I'm going to reiterate, this is not all people that are in male-female friendships, whatever you want to call it. I don't think that that's everybody's situation, but I think in this situation, I don't think there's any reason for you to be play fighting while somebody's boyfriend is shirtless and laying on somebody's shoulder. Like, I just don't think that that's appropriate. And that's when I question, when does it toe the line of emotional cheating or cheating? Like, when does it become inappropriate for you guys? And I want to have a real conversation about that in the comments. Like, for me, I think this is too much, too far. Some people don't have a problem with that, and they, are very secure in their relationships. And I don't think if you're against that type of horse playing around with the friends, I don't think that you're insecure for that. I just think it's different strokes for different folks. So now, I wish you would have spoken up, OP. I wish you would have said something. I wish you would have spoken to Macy about the behavior and nipped it in the bud the first time. And also, let me go back into this story, because did the boyfriend, hold on, when it was planned ahead of me to go to my boyfriend's house so we can have some alone time and hang out, Macy asked if she can come. So I told her to ask my boyfriend, which he said yes to. I think that's the problem. Like, we're so scared to set a boundary and to speak up for some reason, because like, oh, we're scared we're gonna offend and we're scared. Like, no, if you don't feel comfortable and you wanted some alone time, you sound young. You guys sound very young, so I'm not gonna like, go in or anything, but like, I would say for next time, if you feel something in your gut is wrong and you're like, I don't feel comfortable with this whatsoever, friend or not, this girl don't sound like any type of friend, but friend or not, you have to speak up. You have to say something, because that's when things snowball into something bigger. You're having this falling out and she's accusing you, which, I mean, she just told on herself. She said that you implied that she's trying to fuck your boyfriend, and it's like, nobody said that, but since you want to admit stuff and project things, now I'm starting to think you want to, because what business do you have laying your head on somebody's shoulder, and why do you want to be a third wheel at somebody's boyfriend's house is my question. Like, I don't understand that. Why do you need to be that close and up under somebody's relationship like that? What are you doing? It's like you want to be you want to monitor what's going on in the relationship, and like the second something goes wrong, she's going to be like, oh, well, I'm his friend. Let's see what's going on. Let's see how I can weasel my way in here. The boyfriend, I don't know if he's aware of what's going on, but like, I wish he would have said, like, at least stood his ground a little bit. Like, I don't like this type of behavior. I would have to like be all up under my friend and her boyfriend. Like, I don't even know why you would want that, why you would want to be a third wheel. But the boyfriends need to speak up in these situations, because like, if they're allowing this person to blur these lines like that, and they're allowing themselves to blur these lines, knowing full well they have a girlfriend and they know what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, I think that's a problem too. And they need to start laying down the law a little more and stop being so loosey-goosey and like, oh, we're all just friends. No, like, some things are just extra. Like, you don't need to be laid up with nobody shirtless, laying on their shoulder. Like, that's too far, in my personal opinion. For her to jump to that conclusion and say, oh, you think I'm trying to fuck your man? Like, nobody said that. But, I mean, now that you brought it up, we kind of are looking at you sideways. So, no, I do not think you're the asshole for speaking up about this. And honestly, it's probably for the best that you guys don't hang out with each other right now. Maybe a few years down the line, you guys might change and, you might be able to see things eye to eye. But as of right now, it doesn't seem like you're probably never going to feel comfortable with her around. So yeah, everybody needs to just start speaking up for themselves and make your boundaries clear. And if people can't respect that, if people are making you feel crazy for how you feel, then just cut ties, honestly. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed episode 9. I had so much fun. I really like this like variety style format. Did you win? Are you smarter than a 5th grader? What was your score? Did you pass? Did you do better than me? Please let me know in the comments down below. And let me know if there's any other games you would want me to do on the show in the future. I really had fun. And let me know your takes on these Am I the Asshole scenarios, because I love hearing the back and forth discussion. Make sure you guys follow the Boudoir on Instagram and also subscribe to the YouTube channel, and make sure you rate your girl 5 stars on Spotify and Apple. All right, I will see you guys next week. Bye.